One of the most sacred practices of traditional India is to protect the environment in the form of sacred groves. It is the responsibility of we human beings or the people for maintaining and conserving the environment. What they state is that when we respect the environment, then the nature will be good to us. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to today's session on Environmental Studies for second semester B.Ca. I am Dr. Divya, Environmental Studies faculty, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So in today's session, let us continue with studying Unit 7, that is Human Communities and the Environment. So in this session, let us concentrate on environmental ethics, that is, we people need to develop certain norms and certain ethics towards the environment in order to safeguard the environment, because the planet is not only for us to live. We have to cooperate and live peacefully with all the other living organisms that share this particular planet. So likewise, our religious books, be it the religious books of Hindus, the Jains, the Buddhists, the Muslims, the Christians, all these religious books, they have put some phrases wherein the people need to follow some ethics towards safeguarding the environment. So what are those ethics or environmental ethics we shall learn in today's particular session? So talking about environmental ethics. So it is a branch of applied philosophy that studies the concepts of the environmental values as well as attitude of the society towards the environment, the action and policies that have been undertaken by the society or by the people in order to protect and sustain the biodiversity and ecological system, or in simple terms, we can say environmental ethics is the study of the relationship between human beings and the environment. So we need to have a good relationship between us and with that of the environment, right? Why? Because we share a space with other living organisms. So how much we people have the right to live on this planet, similarly all the other organisms also have the right. So we need to try to live in harmony with these organisms that are sharing this particular planet with us. So let's talk about the role of Indian and other religious communities and cultures. What are their contribution towards environmental conservation, or what ethics they have put forward for environmental conservation. So first talking about the role of Hinduism and the environment. So we Hindus actually, we believe in Ahimsa, right? So if you open the religious book of Hindu, that is the Bhagavad Gita of Hindu, there you will hear about Ahimsa, that is non-violence. So even we got our independence because of this Ahimsa that was followed by Gandhiji, right? So Ahimsa, which teaches about karma. So what it teaches about karma? So it teaches about karma and also about rebirth, where they believe that what you do will come back to you. That is always true. Just if you do good, good will come back to you. On the other hand, if you do bad, it will come back to you. Not very soon, but one or the other day, you'll have to face the consequences. That is always true with this particular teaching about karma and rebirth, wherein the Hindu, according to Hinduism, a dead person may take rebirth as an animal or a bird. Therefore, we should not injure an animal or bird, because if we injure an animal or a bird, it is like injuring a human being, because can't say we kill a particular animal and bird, maybe because we might take a rebirth as an animal and a bird. So therefore, all forms of life on this planet should be respected. So that is what Hinduism states. So all forms of life on this planet should be respected, because who knows, when we take a rebirth, we might become an animal or a bird. So that is why. So therefore, animals and birds have been a part of gods and goddesses in a Hindu culture. So the best example that we can take of is Lord Ganesha, right, wherein he has a elephant head. So that is how we protect the elephants. We think of not harming the elephants. And snakes. So snakes are also considered to be equal to God Subramanya, God Vishnu and all that, right? So that is why, because we see God in them, we try to avoid killing snakes. So that is how the snakes get protected. Or talking about the vultures or the Garuda. So we don't kill them, right? So cows, we safeguard the cows because cow was Krishna's favorite. So that is how. So likewise peacocks, we don't kill peacocks. We never do that. So it is because each god and goddesses has been designated to a particular animal or a bird. Therefore, that fear that is evoked in the human beings, thinking that, okay, they are equal to god and goddesses, we are not supposed to kill them, has safeguarded these animals and plants to a greater extent. This particular part of Hinduism, where the gods and goddesses are a part of the animals and birds, have actually put a break to the killing of animals and birds according to Hinduism. And apart from that, a large number of plants and trees are also worshipped in Hinduism. So it has been worshipped and still today we are worshipping it. We have the Tulsi, right? Tulsi is being worshipped, the neem tree is being worshipped. So they are all sacred trees. So because they are sacred, or banyan trees are being worshipped, so because they are sacred, people think twice before cutting them or before destroying them. So therefore, this act also safeguards the environment. Next, several water bodies are also worshipped, right? Such as the rivers, that is the Ganges river, Yamuna, Sindhu, Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri river. All these are considered spiritual rivers and we compare them to goddesses and therefore we worship them. Because of that, we try to safeguard this river. And because each of these rivers holds a spiritual significance, we try to safeguard these rivers and hence bring a balance in the ecosystem. Because we know that if the aquatic ecosystem is disturbed, then the entire ecosystem of the planet can get disturbed. So therefore, this particular act of worshipping the rivers in turn has saved the ecosystem or brought about a balance in the ecosystem. And one of the most sacred practices of traditional India is to protect the environment in the form of sacred groves. So we have sacred groves. So sacred groves are nothing but patches of forest. So these forests wherein they'll actually put an idol there or they'll build a small temple and they will say that some kilometers of the forest surrounding the temple should not be disturbed. It is considered a sacred grove and it is a home or a abode to the god. It should not be disturbed. So that is how people go there, worship the deity and come back, but they never ever touch the forest. They allow the life of in that particular forest to be as it is. They never disturb it. So that is how a number of sacred groves are there in Rajasthan, in Karnataka, Kerala and all these states, and Mizoram, northeast India also, and that is why a lot of forest area is also being protected under the name of sacred groves. Next is Islam and the environment. So how Islam has contributed itself to safeguarding the environment. So in Islam, the words of Prophet, whatever he has written in Quran, that is the final, and they tend to follow that, right? So the words of Prophet Muhammad noted in the Holy Quran forms the foundation for the rules and regulations for conserving the mother nature, which declares. So according to Prophet Muhammad, what he has written in Quran, Holy Quran, is that everything is created from water. That is true, right? If water is not there, nothing exists. Water is the main essence of life of this planet. So nothing exists. So they have stated that everything is created by water. And the concept of environment according to Islam is a comprehensive concept that includes the earth, sky and mountains with all the creatures in addition to humans and their motivations, emotions and instincts. So they club everything together. So according to them, environment means the earth, the sky, the mountains and all the creatures that are living in earth, sky and mountain, including human beings, the motivations of these creatures, the emotion of these creatures and the instincts of these creatures. Altogether that forms the environment according to the Islam community. And they also believe that all the creatures are created to service people. It is always true, right? Whenever we take help from somebody, we try to return that help, right? So, or else we at least try to remember them thinking of the help that they have done to us. That is human ethics that we follow from one human being to the other. Same way, all the creatures were created to service the people. So whatever organisms are there in the environment or in this planet, they have been made by God or created by God in order to service the people, in order to provide for the people. And therefore, it is the responsibility of we human beings or the people for maintaining and conserving the environment. So when we take something from others, we need to give it back. So that is what the Islam Quran actually states. So whenever we are taking something from the environment, we are taking good service from the environment, the same service we need to render back to the environment as well. And Islam also forbids or it prevents from wasting of resources and destroying the environment. So unnecessarily don't waste the resources. How much you need, only so much you use from the environment. That is what the Islam believes and that is what is stated in the Quran verses. Next, talking about Christianity and the environment. So how Christians have contributed towards the environment and what is there in the Holy Bible. So Christians, they believe that earth belongs to God and the humans are the stewards in charge of its care. So stewards, say for example in hotels, in an aeroplane, or in ships, wherever, their work is to take care of whoever is there in that particular region, right? So if a steward on a ship take care of the people that who are traveling in that particular ship, like that. So what they believe that earth belongs to God and in this earth human beings are there and we human beings are stewards who needs to take care of everything that is created by God. Means God created earth. So we need to take care of the earth. So that is what they mean. So the responsibility of humans towards environment has been stated in the form of verses in the Bible. So there are many phrases and verses written in the different holy books that there are there, right? And there are a lot of phrases and verses which actually shows the responsibility or quotes the responsibility of the people towards safeguarding the environment. So likewise in Christianity also, in their Bible there are some verses which actually states the role of human beings towards the environment. So the Bible states that not to pollute the land where you are. So whichever region you're living, say for example, surrounding your house, you're living in that particular house, surrounding if you maintain also it is enough, you're contributing something to the environment. So do not pollute the land where you live. When they all have had enough to eat, gather the pieces that are left over, hence nothing is wasted. So it means that whatever you use from nature, don't misuse it. Use only what is needed. Sometimes if you take from nature more, don't try to waste it. Give it back to nature itself. So that is what it means. And they said that nature must be treated with same awe and wonder that is reserved for human beings. So how human beings, one human being treats the other with great respect, with great ethics and all that, same way we human beings should also treat nature with great ethical values. And as the earth belongs to God, because they have already stated that earth belongs to God, right? So as earth belongs to God, humans, it is the duty of each and every human being to respect it. So humans must respect it, and also because it belongs to God, it doesn't belong to human beings. It belongs to God. We should make use of it in a ethical way, respect it, and hand it back or give it back to God unspoiled without disturbing nature. We do not have the right to disturb nature because we are not the ones who have created nature. It is God who has created nature. So when God who has created nature and given it to us, we have to return it as such. Say for example, this a simple thing. You take a book from a library. Will you just tear it, spoil the pages and all that and give? Of course, there are people who do that because they think that it is somebody's property. Why should I care? Right? But that should not be the values that people have. Simple thing. I'm just talking about a library and a book. The library is meant for everyone. It is not only for you. Right? It is not only for a single person. So when you borrow a book, you have to make sure that how the book was borrowed, same way you return it. Or if it is torn, okay, fine. You might feel that somebody else stole it. Why should I bother? Never have that attitude. If it is stored or if it is torn, just stick it, make a proper bind and return it. So you're contributing something, right? You have taken something from the library, you're contributing back to the library. I have just given an example. So that is what Christians believe. So when God has created something and given it to you, when you return it to God, it should be the same way as how God had created it. Don't spoil it and give it back to Him. So that is the values that are followed by the Christian community. Next, talking about Sikhism and the environment. So Sikhism preaches people to live with great harmony and respect with nature. So people should live in harmony and respect in nature. And the holy scripture of the Sikhs, that is there, it states that air is the guru, water is the father, and earth is the great mother. And day and night, we have day and night cycles in the earth, right? So day and night are like two nurses who look after us. So air is the guru, water is the father, earth is the great mother, and the day and night cycles are like two nurses who are taking care of us. So altogether, the entire planet is taking care of we human beings. So the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy script of Sikhism, teaches the need for Sikhs to show respect and responsibility to creation for the needs of future generation and their own current needs. So what the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book of Sikhs, what it teaches is that you need to respect the environment. You need to have a responsibility towards the environment wherein you don't misuse the environment. You use the environment to your needs in a limited extent so that the future generation can also use the environment. So it is like you also use it, let others also use it in a good manner. So that is what it is about the Sikhism and the environment. And the holy book of Sikhs, it also states the purpose of human life, wherein they say that the purpose of human life is to achieve a blissful state in harmony with everything around them, other people, animals and nature. So you have to be in a blissful state, always in peace and harmony, respecting other people as well as nature and whatever elements are there in this particular planet. And it also states that this is the will of God. So what is the will of God? According to the Guru Sahib Granth is that no man shall coerce another or no person shall exploit another. You do not have the right to exploit another person. how you have the right to live happily and peacefully in this planet. Similarly, another person as well as all other organisms which shares this planet with you has the equal opportunity and equal rights to live happy in this particular planet. You do not have the rights to disturb any of the other organism in this particular planet. So that is what they mean. According to them, it is the will of God of the Sikhs. And each individual has an inalienable birthright to seek and pursue happiness and self-fulfillment. So each person has taken, or each organism has taken birth in this planet to live peacefully with happiness, and it is their right. So we are nobody to disturb that particular peace and happiness. And love and persuasion is the only law of social coherence. So if each organism and each people have to live in harmony, then only love and persuasion as well as compassion will work out. Or trying to disturb one another, trying to break the harmony or peace in this particular planet will not help, and it will not last longer also. So it is always better to live in peace and harmony. So that is what the Holy Book of Sikh states towards the environment. Next, talking about Buddhism and the environment. So Buddhist teachings and practices, they come under the heading of Dharma. Like how the Hindu teaching and practices come under the heading of Ahimsa, likewise the Buddhist teaching and practices come under the heading of Dharma, which means truth and the path to truth. So what they state is that when we respect the environment, then the nature will be good to us. That is true, right? You respect the environment, you save the forest, then nature will be good to us. You don't respect the environment, you become greedy thinking that whose property is it, let me enjoy, let me do whatever I want, then the nature will react back to you in the same way. The best example is you cut a number of trees for various other purposes for your well-being, for your economic development, wherein you're harming the nature. So when you harm the nature, what happens? One fine day, a heavy downpour rainfall comes, the entire area will get flooded. And you will just lose everything in that flood, right? So that is what you give to nature, the nature gives back to you. That is what they believe. So when we respect the environment, then naturally nature will be good to us. That is what they believe. And when our hearts are good, then the sky will be good to us. So that is what they mean. And the trees are like a mother and father. They feed us. So our mothers and fathers, right? How they take care of us with great care. They feed us, they do everything to keep us happy. They try to fulfill all our wishes. Likewise, similarly, the trees are like mothers and fathers, wherein the trees feed us. They give us food. They give us nourishment or nutrition. And also they provide us everything that we need, right? Right from the fruit to the flower, the branches, the whole tree we make use of, right? So they give us food and satisfy many of our needs. Now, when the tree is capable of giving us so much, why can't we contribute planting a tree? Why can't we give back to the planet Earth, right? Planet Earth has given us trees as gift. We are using it. We are using it as food. We are using it for various industrial purposes. Many things we are using it. All the parts of the trees are used, right? So when so much Mother Nature is giving us, we need to give back to Mother Nature. That is what Buddhism states. And so we spread the Dharma, the truth of protecting ourselves and also protecting the environment, which is the Dharma of the Buddha. So according to Buddha, he states that we need to protect ourselves, and in turn, we should not forget the environment. We should protect the environment also. We should take something from the environment and we should give back something to the environment. And Buddhists believe that nature is a teacher. That is true, right? Every day you learn something looking around you. A simple example that I can give is a bird. but they depend on the plants wherein they move from one flower to other, feeding on the nectar or the juice that is there in the flower, right? So during that process, how very beautifully, very softly, they just take out the nectar and leave the flower as such. Will they spoil the entire plant? Will they kill that particular flower? No. Only what they need from that nectar. They'll just take out the nectar and leave the plant as such, right? So that is how we learn. So looking at that, we learn how beautifully they just take what they want. So what do we learn from that? Even we should take only what we want, not unnecessarily out of greed, not destroy the nature. So that is what every day when you look at the relationship between the plants and animals, we try to learn one or the other thing. So that is how, according to Buddhism, they believe that nature is a teacher and all things are impermanent. That is true, right? Once anything that is being born, one or the other day it should die. So they have to die, decay and dissolute as their natural condition. So with that short span of time from birth to death, each human being one or the other day, or any organism for that matter, they are never immortal, right? They have to die one or the other day. They have to die with that short span of time. Why? To create problems in the environment. Everybody can live in harmony. So that is what Buddhism preaches. Next, talking about Jainism and the environment. So Jainisms also follow Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. They say Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, meaning non-injury to the living beings, not just related to humans or animals, but all forms of life. We all know how strict the Jain life is, right? They even think twice when having a plant product also, because they believe that how each human being is important on this planet, just like that all creatures, be it a big creature or a small one or a very, very minute one, all have their own importance and importance should be given to them. So that is what they preach in Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. They believe in Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. And one of the important principles of Jainism is expressed in Sutrakta Anga, the religious text of Jain, that is a holy book of Jain, wherein they have stated that a man should wander about treating all creatures as he himself would be treated. How will you treat yourself? Do you injure yourself? Do you misbehave with yourself? No, right? You treat yourself with great love, care and respect. When you can treat yourself with great love, care and respect, without causing any injury to yourself, same thing you can show towards the other creatures also, right? So that is what their holy script states about. So this is about Jainism and then environment. And the Jain Angums, that is in their holy book or in their religious book, there are various texts which are called as the Jain Angam. So these texts actually depict nature as 5 main elements, that is Prithvi, which includes land, soil, stones, etc. Then Jal, that is water resources including cloud. Then Agni, which is fire, Vayu, which is air, and Akash, that is sky, are living creatures. So all these are also living creatures and they must be treated as living beings. So that is what they say. The fire, the air, the sky, the winds, the clouds, all these, the stones, whatever is there, whatever abiotic factors are there in this planet, all have a form of life in it and therefore they have to be treated as living beings. That is what the texts of or the Jain Angams depict in the religious book of Jains. And these 5 type of elements, that is Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu and Akash, they actually go on to form 5 classes of beings such as vegetation, trees and plants, fungi and animals. So this unique concept of Jainism restricts its followers from harming any of the creatures be it a minute fungi or a bacteria or a virus or any creature for that matter that is there on this planet, they believe that we are not supposed to harm it. And this belief actually has eventually led to the limited consumption, as well as it helps in protecting the environment and this is strictly practiced in date. We know even today Jains are very strict in their diet, right? What they have to eat, how much they have to eat. So why? Because it means that even when you're eating something, you're creating harm to it. So you have to be very conscious according to the Jain's text. So that is what they believe. So they limit their consumption because they believe that all elements, be it the living and the non-living, it has its own essence on this planet. So this was about the relationship between the Jains and the environment. So these are the role of various Indian religions and other cultures who contribute towards the environment. So I hope you understood this session wherein we have learnt about the different holy books of different religion, wherein various phrases, texts have been quoted or verses have been quoted as to how human beings have to behave towards the environment in order to safeguard the ecosystem. So in the next coming session, which is the last session of this unit, we shall learn about environmental communication and public awareness, and also we shall learn about a case study wherein we'll take an example of the CNG vehicles that was brought about in Delhi in order to reduce pollution. So with these two topics, in the next session, the unit will come to an end. So we shall meet again in the next session with these two topics. Thank you.